So, hey guys, welcome back to Spider-Man's Laboratory, and this is your host, Spider-Man 6160. Today, we are going to study about pointers in any language that exists, and we are not going to do any code. We are just going to look at pointers visually. So, before starting pointers, there are two important concepts that we must need to know about. One is value and one is reference. So, what are value and references? Technically, value is just the value stored by a variable, and reference is the address inside the memory of the machine. So, let's take a look at that visually. So, let's say this place has a value of Gateway of India, but it also has a certain address. The way we can look at it if we are looking it on a computer, and that is these things, this coordinates. So these coordinates are the reference of Gateway of India, and Gateway of India is the value stored inside this place. Now, why are value and references important? Because when we do function operations on different data types, it depending on the data type, it perform functions. For example, if we are working with small uh, data types like characters or integers or float or double or boolean, then it uh, just changes the value in the function. It can create a copy and it changes the value. But when we have too much of data at once, then it is very costly to create a copy of the uh, source image, source object, because in today's world, storage is money, and that's why the operation are done in on the original object you see. So let's take an example for the alteration of source image. So as we can see here, we are here to increase the resolution of an image. Here we've got an image which is not much clear, and so as we can see here, we've got a somewhat better resolution image, although it's not much different from the original. But what this function did here was that it took my upload, it saved it in inside its memory, and then it started working on the original file. and it altered the original file in its memory. And here, which we can see original here, is that it re-uploaded my image and showed it to me. So this is what the things work. Now, what are pointers basically? Sorry about that. So now let's move on to pointers. What are pointers exactly? So as we know that a variable or any object in a programming language or inside anything has a value and a reference. So when we normally print a variable here, we normally printed the variable here. This prints the value of the variable, and these things are called pointers. So pointer are basically a thing that points to the address of the variable. So we can look it again visually over here. So let's say we are working on an array of three data type, three elements. So that array gets a random allocation of memory inside the uh, random allocation of 3 bytes of memory inside the memory. So let's take it here, and here we've stored the value 203, which is another reference in fact. Let's see 5. So now what it has that A, B, C. So now there's an array which stores A, comma B, comma C as 3 elements, and we've got a pointer uh, who's allocated at memory 100, and its value is the reference of the array which we have initiated here. Now, note here that the array is always uh, the array always has the reference of the first element inside it. It has a memory of 3 bytes, but those 3 bytes are allocated memory in linear fashion, just next to each one another. So an array always have the reference of the first element. So this is how we can create an array, and you can create a pointer to a pointer, and a pointer which points to an object, and another pointer which points to a pointer, another pointer which points to a pointer. And you can intentionally or unintentionally create a pointer loop where a pointer points to a pointer, which points to another pointer, and which points back to the original pointer. So let's take a look at nested pointers, which we can see with an example of nested lists. Sorry, not nested lists, linked list. So what are linked lists? Basically, linked lists have a certain value, and there's a next. So this stores a value, and the last element of the list is the reference to the next list. So let's take a look at that. So let's say we've got another array who is at 207, and another array, sorry, at 200. So at this point, uh, instead of C, we have to write the memory of another l- uh, list, and that is let's say 103, or better, we'd say A7. A7. Now here, 5. Okay. Now here we are referencing another list, and let's say it C9. Here we've got 1, 2, 3, and B7, actually. B7, and no, it was right. A7 only. So A3. Yeah. A3 contains reference to C2, and here it stores a string hello. And the linked list can go on and on as well, like this, or it can directly store a loop, and that is A2. So let's look at that, what's happening. We access the value of list A. So we got A, then B, then we went to A7. Now A7 is right here. So we went to the reference and got what's the stored value here. Then see, we directly went to this address, and which is here. We access the element of list B, 1, 2, 3, and then we got an address. So we went to that address, where we got another address, and we went to that address, and here we got the value hello, and the next value is A2, with which is an address. So we went to that address, which pointed us back to the list. So this is how we've created a linked list loop, and pointers are very useful in creating such data structures, and it is very useful in data structures and algorithms. So that's it about pointers. Thank you.